We're live here with CFN Network. Is Miss K-Way TV, and I have my friend here,
Minister Dominique Alexander. How you doing?
The great Mr. Dominique Alexander. So, Mr. Alexander, how are you feeling today? Is it a joyous day to celebrate, or what's going on in your mind right now?
Well, it's a joyous day to celebrate a man that had so much courage and strength. It's a great day to celebrate his family and be here today during the midst of all of the stuff that we're going through right now. I know a lot of people's emotions are with the trial right now, so it's a great day to kind of take a break from all of that and just really focus on celebrating the life of Botham John and how this great foundation is going to focus on changing the world in his honor.
Going through the trial, did you feel any type of emotional ties or anything like that with the situation, also with the family?
Well, yes, because at the end of the day, my family has had to have this front seat access before with the shooting death of my uncle, Gala Alexander. So we understand it, and that's the reason why I continue to organize my organization to be a support beacon for these families. And at the end of the day, we know that all kind of mixed emotions are there. We know that the sacrifice of the community organizing has this family here at this process, but at the end of the day, we have to just continue to equip ourselves and go forward with it and support them.
And in supporting other people, and especially us as our community, what do you think will be the change? What is that factor to that extent?
Well, I think, like I said before, is we're just not seeing Amber Geiger standing trial. Mm-hmm. We're seeing the whole police department. And at the end of the day, it's not about the man or the woman in the badge. It's about the culture of policing, right, in America, in Dallas. And what we're seeing is the continued culture of policing on that stand, and so many things that's unraveling and so many people shocked or whatever. But this is nothing new to me, because this is the reason why we've been out there protesting when so many people were saying, why are we doing it? Why are we doing this after July 7th? It's too soon. No, our reply is it's too late, right? Because at the end of the day, we see this, but we see all of those failures, right? Amber Geiger got more justice than Botham John, right? In his own living room, right? So at the end of the day, we have to continue to stand up and be equipped to support this family, you know. But Miss John and Mr. John, they do it. It's easy to support an amazing family like this.
So what is something, signing out, what is something that you would tell the people back home just to give them some comfort in this situation?
Just know that the people in Dallas, Texas support. We're going to continue to make sure that Botham John's name, let me say this real quick, Botham Ja, because my Caribbean sister, Safia, has always told me to make sure I pronounce it right.
Say it right.
I'm going to say it right. But know that we're supporting, know that we are lifting his name, know that his name will never be forgotten.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Alexander, and we're signing out here with CFN Network. It is K-Way TV. We love you.
Are shocked that Geiger could not see that those apartment halls simply could not be. An iron board is in plain view and the TV is on. Still Geiger fires a gun and sends both falling to the ground. Through all the pain and anguish of it all, the Jean family has stood brave and tall, with dignity, grace, and unfailing belief. They've taught us all how to handle anger and grief. Thank you.
You know, what we're going to go ahead and do is make sure that we all turn to each other instead of on each other. For the rest of the night, we're going to have a good time, and we're having a good time right now. I want you to take note that in the background, Bo's legacy is being drawn by C-Ray. He's doing a great job back there. Let's give him a round of applause. We have a great opportunity. And this opportunity that we have is to remember our dear brother, Botham, and to remember his legacy to do great things, not only here in Dallas, but all across the United States and all across the world. Be it whether or not we are helping children in South Dallas or helping children in Soweto, South Africa, we have an opportunity this evening. The Botham Foundation, they're going to come to you this evening. We're going to ask. We're going to ask you to dig deep in your hearts and also deep in your pockets as well. Because that's how we make change, through heart and resources. With that in mind, we're going to conclude the music interlude, and then we will have closing remarks from other people outside of Bo's native St. Lucia, went into the broader room.
All of us feel a great emptiness, but none so more than his family in his absence, and we all feel the looming outcome of this case, and we're praying for justice. But at the same time, we have to extend his legacy. We have to amplify that smile. And looking at Botham smile through all of those pictures, it's not just sharing that picture, it's also emulating the kindness and the generosity that he represents with his symbol. Last year, I pulled bullets out of Stephon Clark's body in Sacramento. I had to wash his body after that assassination. And it always feels like these things happen around the same time frame. We remember Alton Sterling, who incidentally was actually murdered 35 feet from my mother's grave in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And Philando Castile in the same time frame, and how that made us feel. And this week, of course, the federal charges dropped against the officers that murdered Stephon Clark, who will now serve once again in uniform. And with all of this happening at the same time. And I wrote an article in the aftermath of Stephon's assassination called "Killing Him While He's Dead." Malcolm called it the persecution that comes with the prosecution of the victim, the character assassination. Now we know that smile through those pictures. Some knew Botham through that smile in real life. And we want to make sure that though we can't reclaim him, we can make sure that his legacy lives through that spirit of generosity for the next 60, 70, 80 years, as he should have had the opportunity to live on this earth. And so I want to thank you all, and I want to continue to lift the family of Botham in our prayers, especially this week and beyond, because that grief will continue beyond this case. We pray for them. We pray that God gives them justice. We pray that God unites them with their loved one. We pray that the mercy and love that they had in their hearts for their deceased one continues to remain and unify them with his spirit. And we pray that we can be a part of that comfort and that cause of justice. Thank you all.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I said that was my imam, that's my teacher, my literal teacher at SMU, so I appreciate you as always. You know, that's family for me, having a teacher is family for me, and also having good attorneys is family for me as well. So that being said, he knew what I was going at. Lee Merritt is my friend, and I want to go ahead and introduce the attorneys that you will be seeing this evening as well. Lee Merritt is my friend, and also he shares my birthday, February 1st. We're 10 years apart, but we are never more than, well, just seconds apart from each other in talking about social justice. I also would like to bring him up, and I also would like to bring up my brother Darrell Washington up as well. And come on up, bring all my attorneys up. And my attorney from Florida, Mr. Benjamin Crump, Attorney Benjamin Crump, I'd like to bring him up as well.
Give the one to the mic to the one who talks the most. Thank you everyone for being here. This is, it's just a beautiful room to see everyone in their red gowns and the red ties. Ben, Daryl, and I have discussed for a long time. We've unfortunately represented far too many individuals who have had their lives taken without justification, and it needs to be more than a hashtag. Their names need to live on through our communities. We have an obligation, and to echo the sentiments of Brother Omar, he's always a tough act to follow, but he said something important, that we now have a responsibility, an absolute obligation to make something of these names of these individuals who could have been anything, who would have changed the world. Botham Jean will change the world through his inspiration of you all. We all now have a calling to be like Bo, and Bo had a calling to be like Christ. And so it renews the calling in each one of us to be like our Creator and to change the world for the good. And so I am honored to sit next to this family. I'm honored to stand next to these brothers who teach and mentor me every day as we go about the work of changing the world. We're asking you all to join us. Most of you are already a part of our team, but we're asking you all to join this foundation, to support this foundation monetarily, to support this foundation in name, and to not leave this room tonight changed. To not leave this room tonight the same, but to leave here changed, inspired to be like Bo.
Good evening. I'm the one that talks the least out of being in lead, so I'll be very short. But I'm just going to ask you all, just please, Dallas, Texas, and all the surrounding areas, just to join me. And we're going to do it a lot of times tonight, but to join me in giving Bertram, Alisa, Miss Allison, and Brant a round of applause. I mean, we say this, what they have taught us, how to have courage and have strength, and I just have never seen a family that carry themselves with so much of class in times of tragedy. You're going to have the opportunity to meet other mothers tonight who have lost their sons and daughters, and the family thought that it was important that they also joined in this celebration, because we always say justice for one is justice for all. So we thank you all for spending your Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening with us. We have a very long night, but it's going to be a beautiful night. And we need you. Please, please support this foundation. You're going to have an opportunity to hear about the wonderful things that this foundation have already done. But with your support, there's no doubt in my mind that this foundation is going to do wonderful things. And as Ms. Allison said, I looked at Allison tonight. I said, Botham would be proud, wouldn't he? So I know Botham would be proud of all of you being out here for him tonight. So thank you.
I stand very proud with Lee and that beautiful little princess, Daryl, and Sean King, and so many others who I think collectively we have represented so many brothers and sisters who have unnecessarily and unjustifiably been taken from us, and we stand together refusing to let them sweep their lives under the rug. You know, some people, Lee and Daryl, who lack vision and are short-sighted, may have thought that on September 6th, when Amber Geiger killed Botham, that it extinguished his light. But through the efforts of his family and the Botham John Foundation, that light will illuminate the world forever. Ms. Allison, and board members, we stand with our board president, Alicia Finley, to say thank you all for not considering it robbery to be like Bo, right, Lee? To be like Bo today and every day as we continue to let his light shine. Thank you all. God bless you. Our president, Alicia Finley.
I just wanted to thank everyone for showing up and for supporting the foundation and for loving my brother. Even though most of you didn't know him, thank you so much for showing up, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
international. This is international. Dallas is an international city. It became an international city a long time ago. If Mayor Mike Rollins still around, yes, I see him over there.
The tallest peaks on the same ocean. Your love overflowing like lava, encouraging, because you believe that we can all do more and be more. And then I heard your voice, a gift that our ears unwrapped like Christmas morning each time you led a worship set or sang in harmony with the good news singers. Your voice was a melody that kept tempo with the rise of sunset, reminding us daily to have a little talk with Jesus, tell him all about our troubles, so that we could give praises where it was due. Let his praise rise among us. And you are still leading us. Your songs of worship still give us hope. Your love still gathering people together. And being like Bo is more than a hashtag. It's a goal to aspire to. Because we are still learning from you. We can all be more like Bo. Believe like Bo. Love like Bo. Worship and serve like Bo. And even as we mourn the loss of you, missing the light you could bring into a room full of darkness, the salt that you sprinkled on this bitter and bland world, we are refusing to allow your name to be buried in the black and white of the headlines. Because we will not sit silent. The community that you loved and served are standing together for you, united. And even when we grow tired of being woke, while others play possum pretending that they're sleeping with their eyes wide open, we will stand for justice until justice rolls down like a river and righteousness like a mighty stream. And when they see us, they will see that we are Botham's army. We are our brother's keeper, keeping his legacy alive, because when they see us, they will see you. Botham, I never had the chance to meet you, but the lessons you have taught me are never ending. Your life, so well lived, is worth celebrating. And in this room, on what would have been your 28th birthday, is only proof that your legacy is continuing.
What's going on? I'm Ed Gray. I'm the Master of Ceremonies for this evening. I'd like to again thank you for coming to the Botham John his birthday celebration. It's his birthday, right? Let's give him a round of applause. Prove that this man's legacy was not just in Dallas, but in St. Lucia as well. Bo's former employer in St. Lucia, Marguerite Sin, and her husband Milton. That's a testament of a man in which family and friends can come from near and far to honor. As we honor, and I know, and I said this upstairs as well, when we talk about social media, and we talk about getting those apps that Brother Sean King was saying in order to go ahead and dig deep in and give to the Botham John Foundation. We want you to also to hashtag this event. Hashtag it, be like Bo. Okay? Now, I wanted to be like Mike a long time ago. But you know, after learning about the John family, learning about Bo, I want to be like Bo. I want to be like Bo. And this game, BJW game, hashtag that as well. Botham John Foundation Day. And last but not least, Bo Love Red Dignity. Well, hashtag Red Tide for Botham. So that's what we're going to do this evening. And we're going to, as I said before, we're going to have an exciting evening. We're going to have entertainment, we're going to have great food, we're going to have great fellowship, we're going to meet new announce that we have a live music performance by Cherry Jackson. Cherry Jackson. Botham little brothers will hashtag that, not before And Papa, he just said, I want to be like Papa. So with that in mind, we're going to have his younger brother, Grant, to come up and say some words regarding what it was for Bo as a big brother in the role model. Let's give a round of applause.
Let me just say I'm beyond nervous right now. I usually haven't been able to speak whenever I'm asked this question. What was Botham like to you? How was he as a younger brother? Every time it's been asked, I've never been able to answer. I haven't really been able to actually put it into words. I was asked to describe Botham as a brother, a role model. In putting this answer together, I tried the approach of giving little stories that would have shown who Botham was as a person. But there are so many stories that you probably would have heard by now. A lot of stories portraying how good of a person he was, but I wanted to be different. I wanted to go down a specific thing. Scrolling through different messages between Botham and I looked for something that he said to me, and that thing was, "Boy, Dre, let's get this right." Botham always wanted me to do the right thing, no matter what it was. I think it was kind of OCD, like, do it perfectly. Like, he always made sure I had done it the right way. He wanted to get my act right. Botham was friendly with whoever he meets. And it's not that I wasn't friendly, but I'm a bit shy when I first meet people. And I can recall the first time, not the first time, one of the times he took me out of his friends and I would just not say a word. I wouldn't be upset, but I'm around people for the first time, I wouldn't say a word. So when we get home, he would come to me and say, "Yo, you have to fix it."
Before you today.